Hi there, it's real estate coach Josh Fegan, and today we're going to talk about a really important topic. How do you charge higher fees? Yep, that's exactly what we need to be doing inside of the real estate industry, because now more than ever, a great agent has completely been separated from the rest of the pack. When we were in a highly aggressive market where we were getting a lot of high growth, it was very easy for every agent to kind of look similar, because all of a sudden we're in a position that regardless of the agent that you chose, properties were pretty much selling themselves. What we now know is that in the new market conditions that we've just entered, it's really important that the agent that their people employ actually knows the people in their local community. Because it's what you do when all of a sudden the marketing stops working that makes a massive difference to overall success. So how do you charge higher fees? Well, the first thing that you've got to do is that you've got to believe in your value of what you bring to the table. And this is a really important part, because agents are falling apart very quickly in the marketplace, not knowing what to do when there's no bidders at the auction, not knowing what to do when there's only one bidder at the auction, or even worse than that, not knowing whether or not to actually recommend an offer early if it is a good offer, and then losing that offer before we actually get to the auction day. Now, this is really important. You are employed to be the agent to give the specific advice on whether or not we should sell today or not based on the current market circumstances. And it's actually up to you to understand two principal things that will determine all property prices. The first one is what we're going to go and call bargaining strength. Now, let's say, for example, that there are 10 houses available for sale, and then all of a sudden next weekend there's 30 houses available for sale. Well, the challenge for the consumer is that they are now in a position that now they are competing with more homes in that marketplace for a limited buyer pool, which means that the bargaining strength has actually decreased. And having said that, there's also something, the number of buyers that are coming through open for inspections, the number of inquiries that you're receiving online, that also dictates the amount of bargaining strength. Now, when you understand that, you then need to use that from a leverage perspective to understand that whether or not today is actually the day that we can get the buyer to increase, or whether or not that's actually the money. Now, you don't want to risk it. If you're in a position that property prices have changed in your area, there's a low level of buyer inquiry, and there's a high level of competing homes, it's actually about understanding when to say now is the time to sell or now is the time to hold. And it's a really important skill that a lot of agents have forgotten. So now more than ever, there's going to be a lot of separation of agents, because it's not just about how much you sold it above reserve, it's actually about did you sell the home? And what is it that you've done to really maximize the sale price? Now, to me, the agents that get back on the phone, those people that get more face-to-faces with the buyers, those that do more private appointments are the ones that are going to be worth more than anyone else. So this is really about understanding how you separate and differentiate. Now, from the consumer's point of view, they will pay for value. And that is why business class and first class exists on an airline versus economy class. Now, what do? They analyze all of the challenges the customer goes through. Being in a position to get stuck in traffic, trying to get to the airport, working out where you park, having to line up in the queue, being in a position that you then get charged for maybe having overweight baggage, then having to line up at security, then having to wait around, trying to board, get on the plane. But what they do in business class or first class is that they actually pick you up. They take you to the airport. You don't have to park your car. There's a special entry. You then get to zoom in. There's no lineup. There's an extra amount of baggage that you can have. All of a sudden, you can speed through security. You can go straight to a lounge. You can then go get a beer or a champagne or sit there and actually have a great meal before you actually go to your private loading to get into the actual plane itself and not have to deal with everyone else. You see the difference? What they did in airlines is that they actually clearly identified what are the pain points and the frustration points that the customer goes through, because there are a group of customers that are prepared to pay 2, if not 3 times that amount by just being able to alleviate those pain points. So to be a great real estate agent, what are the pain points that you're actually solving? Why does the customer actually find that valuable? And just remember that if they can't see the value, they won't pay the difference. So it's absolutely important that you identify what those pain points are, what it is that you do for the client, so that you can charge the fee that you're worth and be worth the fee that you charge. I really hope that you've enjoyed this week's coaching tip, and I look forward to seeing you next week.